Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. I am early this evening. So, those people that are kind of hanging around till 7 o'clock, I'm really sorry. But I've decided to come on early because I'm into day 2 of my 5-day challenge. And I've got another very long live starting at 8 o'clock tonight. So, I thought I'd drop on slightly early and do the live on all of my other platforms and pages so that I could be on time and rested and on point for the 5-day challenge. So, what I'm talking about tonight is that question, that big question in business that everybody always asks and that some people say is not important. And that I'm going to disagree with those people who say it's not important. Who is my ideal customer? So that's what I'm going to be talking tonight about. How do you identify who your ideal customer is? So without further ado, because I'm early, I'm not going to wait for people to drop on because I'll be waiting for like 7 minutes, and I'm not going to do that and sit here and say nothing or slaver on while you guys that are dropping on are watching. So for those that don't know me, I am Mandy Nicholson and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist and a published author, and I help the amazing creative women of the world to launch, grow and scale their businesses and make more money. And this week is all about that in my 5-day challenge, how to make more money as an artist. We're into day 2's task. I start them off really gently on a Monday. Day 2's task is all about numbers and everybody freaks out. And I've got loads of questions to answer tonight. So that's really exciting. But they will be working tomorrow on ideal clients. So this is a bit of a precursor to what some of the people that are in that group are going to be working on tomorrow. So why do you need to know who your ideal customer is when you are in business? You will probably, if you're in business now, if you're an entrepreneur of any description, no matter what you're doing, you'll have done some work on ideal client. You will have maybe attended other people's trainings. Maybe you've even attended one of mine in the past. You will have listened to people's opinions. Now, if you hear drilling, banging going on, by the way, I'm just going to say this now. I've got plasterers and joiners here putting in false ceilings and putting up new ceilings in the Van Gogh room and new coving. So there may be some banging and crashing and noise. So just ignore it. Just listen to the sultry sound of my voice and ignore the banging. So, ideal customer. The best and the biggest multi-billion-dollar companies on the planet know exactly who their ideal customer is. When I was working in retail, we knew who our ideal clients were that shopped in our supermarkets, because believe it or not, even supermarkets, there's a different ideal customer for Tesco's as there is for Asda, as there is for Lidl, as there was for Summerfield, as there is for the Co-op. They are all different. They are not the same people. Yes, we all buy food, but we all shop at specific shops. Think about your own shopping habits. And believe me, these companies know who you are, and they tailor their offers and their promotions directly to speak to you. And this is what you need to do when you are in business. And what I get asked the most from the creative women that I work with is, how on earth do I discover who my ideal customer is for my artwork, for paintings? How do you know who your ideal customer is for paintings? And it's as easy as, well, it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. Nailing down your ideal client, your ideal customer is never easy. It takes work. It's hard work. It's the most important work that you will do at the start of your business. The most important work. Don't listen to what anybody else says. If somebody else says it's not necessary, they are talking BS. It's really necessary and really important. You need to know them, because if you don't know them, how can you speak to them? And how can you tailor your copy, your offers, your products to that particular customer if you don't know who they are? You can't. It's just like flinging it in the wind. And if you try and speak to all the people, you are speaking to none of the people. That's it in business. Try and speak to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. You need to know, you need to be niche enough and know your ideal client so that your messaging I can't speak tonight. Your messaging comes across loud and clear, and the person sees it, and their reaction is, oh my God, she's talking to me. Or, oh my goodness, that product is for me. That's how it works. So how do you nail them down? Well, it's important, first of all, to understand your niche, your USP. What is it that makes you special? Because there are millions of artists, but there's also lots of different varieties of beans, lots of different varieties of bread. We've all got our favorite. So I want you to think about that when you're saying, how can, there's loads of artists out there. How can I be niche? There's loads of bread out there, but you know which one you like, don't you? So the person who buys art knows which one they like, just like they would choose their bread. So your job is to find your people, the people that want to choose you. You are their loaf of bread. So how do you do that? This is about you doing lots of market research and lots of searching, soul searching, asking people, looking for buying trends and buying patterns, first of all, and then really nailing it down. Now, there are so let's talk about art, original art. There are only certain people that buy original art. Not everybody buys original art. Some people might buy it occasionally. There are certain people who buy it regularly. Those are the types of people that you have got to find. Where are they? Where are they hanging out? What sites are they on? What are they searching for on Google? Where are they on social media? What groups are they hanging out in? What magazines do they read? What publications do they read? What cafes do they go to in your local vicinity? You have got to find out their habits, and you need to know what sort of house they live in. So I am a collector of original art. I'm an artist. I'm also a collector. So I'm an ideal client for a lot of artists, but I like what I like. So your job is to find out what I like. And if I am the right ideal customer for you, your job is to speak to me directly. Show me your work, show me your offers, and speak to me directly with the work that you've got. That's how to nail down your ideal client. You need to know how old I am, whether I'm married or not, whether I've got kids. You need to know all of this, because this isn't it's like building up a psychological profile. Have you ever watched CSI? It's a bit like that. You're doing a bit of a CSI job, okay, on your ideal customer. So it's ICA, ideal customer, like avatar, and it's CSI, because that's the job you're going to do on them. You're going to find out as much about them as you possibly can. Because the more you know, the more you can tailor your copy and the way that you speak online in your online presence, so that that person will notice you in the crowd of people that sort of shuffles through their newsfeed. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to hook them? You're going to do that by speaking to them directly and using images and using words to capture their attention. So your work as the entrepreneur is to do that work on your ideal client. Now, most of my clients do this more than once in the duration of the year that they spend with me. We are just coming out of a fairly difficult couple of years after COVID, and a lot of people's buying triggers and buying habits have changed. So even those people like me that buy original art have not been able to go to art galleries, have not been able to, there's something about buying art where you want to be able to experience it. So you've got to recreate that experience that is the gallery experience in an online format. So your job becomes harder, but your costs become lower. You will make more money by selling online. If you can create the same experience as that potential buyer has if they were going to visit a shop or a gallery. So that works for clothing, it works for art, it works for millions of different products. If you can create an experience where the buyer can still experience that, your ideal client can go through all the buying triggers that they would normally have, even though they can't necessarily do it in real life, then you've got more chance of being able to convert that potential ideal customer into a sale. So This is how to get to know your ideal customer. And that's what I posted on, watch me tonight. I'm going to be talking to you about that. I want the cogs whirring in your head. I want you thinking really long and hard about who are they? Are they female? Are they male? Are they young? Are they old? They can't be a range of ages. Your ideal customer can't be between the ages of 30 and 50. They're either 30 or they're 50 or they're 31 or they're 32. They can only be one age. So you've got to pin it down to that much detail. Maybe your ideal customer is a 45-year-old woman who's recently divorced with 2 grown-up children, who owns their house outright, who lives in a bit of a boho hippie style house with a bit of an eclectic color scheme. Does your work then, does the craft, the art, the creativity that you produce fit in with that environment? How much disposable income do they have? Do they have money to spend? If so, how much do they have to spend per annum? And what is the lifetime customer journey of your products and services, and how much are they worth to you? Those are all the questions you're asking at this early stage. Now, this is really overwhelming, isn't it? If you're sitting there listening to me going, oh my goodness, I thought it was really easy. I just draw a stick woman and put an age in and whether they've got kids and where they go on holiday. No, it's a lot more than that. But most importantly, and this is probably the most important thing that nobody ever tells you, is how are they feeling and how do you make them feel with your products or services? How are they feeling and how can you make them feel? So if you're selling knowledge or services, it's almost like a transformation. If you're selling programs or knowledge or you're teaching, you're going to be delivering a transformation. They're feeling this now. They're going to feel this when they finished with you. Yeah. If they buy your product or service, your product, how is that product going to make them feel when it's up on the wall or when it's placed on their cabinet? How are they going to feel? So it's not only important to know who they are, it's also important to know how they are. And here's a tip. Your ideal customer will be a version of you. There'll be a version of you either now, 5 years ago, before you know what you know now, or before you did what you do now, or 10 years ago, or whatever. They're a version of you. So if you've avoided going back to your creativity for a long time, and then you've gone back to your creativity and you're now producing these beautiful things, your ideal client might be you of 5 years ago before you went, and they might be buying things of beauty for instant gratification because they are feeling like an empty shell because they're not tapping into their creativity. So instead of doing the tapping into their creativity, they are buying beautiful objects from other people. So that's how important it is to really know your ideal client. Who are they and how are they? That's important when you're writing this down. Who are they, where are they, and how are they? So think about that. And think about the big companies that do that. If you think about Coca-Cola know exactly who their ideal client is. Yes, everybody potentially buys Coca-Cola. But when you look at their adverts, they are based on youth and freedom and travel. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and perfect harmony. Sorry, I can't sing, but you know what I mean. It's really upbeat. It's happy. It's about youth and freedom and travel. That's their brand. They are targeting their ideal client who they want to buy their product. They know other people are going to buy. So there's your second tip. If you are speaking directly to your ideal client all the time, others will come. What people get lost in is this desperation to miss out, that they're going to miss out on sales if they don't speak to everybody. Well, you can't speak to everybody. Honestly, if you speak to your ideal client directly and you nail it with them and you get your messaging right, others will also buy from you. But the most important person that you need to target is your ideal customer. So I'm hoping that makes sense for you. What really helps you with this is understanding your identity. So this is actually why I created my creative avatar, my creative archetype quiz, Because the more you understand who you are and what your natural traits are in terms of personality type, the easier it is for you to understand who your ideal client is. Because guess what? Your ideal client is a version of you. So I'll put the link actually under this live, but you'll find it on all of my pages, my free creative archetype quiz. The link's on my personal page, but I'll put it on this live anyway, underneath. If you want to take that quiz, it's more important. It's not just about understanding who you are, whether you're Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, or Salvador Dali. I've used Carl Jung's archetypes in creating that quiz. And Carl Jung is a master marketer, psychological marketing, understanding why people buy, who they are, and how to attract people of a similar ilk towards you. So do the free quiz, find out who you are. That will help you to try and understand who your ideal client is. But most importantly, do the work for this. I will be covering this in my 5-day challenge tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, day 3, that we actually look at ideal client. I talk about it all the time. I talk about it in my group. I would love to have you in my group. If you want to join my group, Creative Genius Corner, there's all sorts of resources over there. I'm constantly talking about business basics and how to help you get on rails. If you want to get on rails in your business, know this. Know it. Know it inside out, back to front, upside down. Know it. Be best friends with your ideal client. Nail them, know who they are. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. Hopefully that's been of some help to you and got the cogs whirring and got you thinking. If you've got any questions, I can't see any comments on here tonight, but I always come back to you and answer the comments. So if you've got questions, please drop them into the comments and I will come back to you. If you want to know any more about this, and you're not in this 5-day challenge, get yourself in the next one, because we do a bit more detailed work on this in the challenge. And I will see you same time, same place next week with another topic. I am going to shoot off for now because I've got a lot to prep for. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week. Have a really ace weekend. And I'll see you next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Bye.